Hello, 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 hello. There we go. Hello from JJ.
I touched it, JJ.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't touch it though, okay?
JJ.
We need to fix something real quick. Hang on just a sec. Okay. There we go. Not so blinding now. Like it was perfectly overcast just 2 seconds ago, and all of a sudden, otherwise I probably would have switched angles, but all of a sudden the sun decided to peek its head, so it's all good. Welcome to the NFL Week 5 review. It's gonna be a rough one for sure at the end here. We'll touch on it just the base.
Down.
Hey, shh, just a little bit. Hey, let Dad talk for just a second, okay? And then you can talk.
Okay,
Just for a second. Cowboys got their butts handed to them. Not much we can say there. We'll do a full review of the game in a little bit, but yeah. We'll just, like I said, we'll always save it for the end. I know that we will do that, so that's just how it's gonna be. I'm gonna fix this here, and then we can do this here. All right. Great week of football, honestly. I think some teams getting some much-needed wins. Some teams, taking some L's and maybe needing to rethink some things, possibly strategy-wise and even personnel-wise. And some teams still on that losing train. So we'll go through everybody, and I got everything right here. So we're just gonna go down as the games go, and obviously we'll save Cowboys Niners for the end. But yeah, we're gonna start off with last week's Thursday night football game: Bears Commanders. Bears 40, Commanders 20. Very surprising game there in that the Commanders didn't keep up scoring wise with the Bears. Again, I'm not surprised that the Bears are scoring points. I think they have an offense to score points. The biggest problem has been their defense kind of does let up a lot of points, and it's hurting. Definitely hurting them there. But we know Justin Fields' stats almost match Mahomes. So I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying his stats are right there. And we know what Justin Fields can do with his legs. I do think that's not a sustainable play for them, but I'd still just 100% it's not Justin Fields' fault. His receivers definitely were a lot better this week. The Washington Commanders, just so much inconsistency. Man, if they miss the playoffs again, I think we see the end of Ron Rivera. I don't think he'll be the coach any longer. Sam Howell still not impressing me. 20 points isn't nothing crazy, but still, just not impressing me much. I don't find the Commanders a threat. That defense is still pretty good. Who knows? As teams start to lose a little bit more, and we get to the trade deadline, we'll see which players become available, so we can get draft picks and stuff like that. And it's something I'm going to touch out during the Cowboys review. Kind of some of the trade abilities and options we need to be looking after. So, Jaguar. We'll go to the Sunday morning game, the London game. Jaguars 25, Bills 20. This one was a little bit of a surprise to me. I'm not going to lie. I thought it would be a competitive game. The Bills definitely looked like jet lag was a thing. Very slow start for them. Wasn't able to really finish well as either. Jags played a pretty solid game of football. We know they're a playoff team, and they've had a few weeks where they didn't look like a playoff team, so they're starting to find their form. 100% believe, the Bills are still going to be up there too. It wasn't like a lot of turnovers for Josh Allen either. They were just couldn't make the plays. Hey,
What?
quit chasing him, please. I know. We'll quit chasing him. He's going to bite you, and you're going to get mad. Not looking like, the Bills where they do a lot of turnovers to lose games. So it was a solid game. Injuries were a little bit of a factor in this game. Bills losing Matt Milano, that's huge. There's 2 linebackers right now in all of NFL that you can't win without. Hey. No, don't play Alexa. Okay, I need you to go to your room or mom and dad's room. Watch Ed and Eddie, please. JJ, not right now. I'm gonna unplug it. Now stop. Okay. Dad's got to do this. Please go sit down. Yeah, losing Matt Milano is huge. Him and Fred Warner are the two linebackers in this league right now that you can't. They need to be here. Like, they are two of the best. Two of the linebackers I fear the most. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. It was in an air cast, so we'll see how that goes for them. But the Bills' defensive injuries starting to pile up. We'll see how that goes for them the rest of the season. As we know, you kind of need at least a top 10 defense to win the Super Bowl. I hands down believe that. So see where it goes for the Bills. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's it. Jaguars looking good. I think Jaguars will be a solid playoff team. That division's going to be tough to win, though. As we go to, we'll talk about that a little bit more with the Colts and Titans. Falcons, Texans. Falcons 21, Texans 19. The two Rookie of the Year candidates, in my opinion, in Bijan and C.J. Stroud. You know, Bijan didn't have his best game for sure, and the Falcons were still able to pull off a win, which is good. I think that they needed to prove that hey, if Bijan's kind of getting shut down, we still need to win some games here. Ritter looked better than he did against the Jags. The Texans, again, I still think they're a very young team, and so there's just going to be some games where mistakes are made, and that's where it's at. But C.J. Stroud is still looking to be the best quarterback so far out of that draft, to me, in my opinion. But it's not like he's blowing away the other quarterbacks that were in this draft, or is he pulling far ahead, as we'll talk in the Colts game. But definitely smart. I think the Texans are still looking like the draft geniuses so far. I think their two draft picks have proven to be better. So good for them. I think the Texans will still. I think both teams will fight for a playoff spot. I don't think, and it'll probably be a wild card. Honestly, I don't think it'll even be for the division win. I think it'll be wild cards, the way some of these teams are stacking up. So, yeah, good for them. Panthers 24, Lions 42. Again, the Panthers still not picking up a win yet. Very young team. Bryce Young's looking better each week, which is good. I don't expect them to win a lot of games, and neither should they. I'm kind of comparing them to the Texans of last year. You know, they're going to play you hard, and they fought pretty hard. It's not like they're giving this an easy win. I mean, it was 42-24, but the Lions did have to do a few things and pull out a couple tricks plays there. But yeah, definitely a good solid win again for the Lions. The Lions offense is one of the best. Their defense can be one of the best. It does have inconsistencies at times. But this Lions offense is hands down looking pretty dang good. Probably second best offensive line in football right now, right behind the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. Solid offensive line. I really, it's going to be a challenge when we play them at the end of the season. So we'll see how that goes. Colts, Titans. Colts 23, Titans 16. And I kind of said this. I thought the Colts were going to win this game. Hey, JJ, can you take that to your room?
What?
Hey, go play in your room with that, please. Okay, then you got to be quiet, okay? Yep, in your room. Okay. Anthony Richardson, he hurt his shoulder, though, so there is a little bit of that worry for the Colts. Jonathan Taylor was back, but he didn't. I mean, I think they were right to put him on a pitch count and stuff like that. We'll see where he goes throughout the season. But I think, the way Zach Moss has been performing, that offensive line for the Colts is pretty good, too. They're looking pretty solid. So, again, the Colts and the Jags are going to have to battle it out for that top spot. And they're going to have to be careful with the Texans and the Titans maybe stealing some games in there as well, as the Texans already stolen a game from the Jags. So, really good division, I think. And a young division at that. So, they're going to be tough for the next couple of years. Titans, again, like I said, I think it's just time. I don't think it's time to move on from coaching yet, because I still think he is one of the better coaches in the league. But it might be time to rethink their offensive stuff. And they need to find that quarterback. Ryan Tannehill's not that guy. He'll win you games, but he's not going to get you anywhere else. So, Dolphins 31, Giants 16. Honestly, a lot lower score than I expected from the Dolphins. A couple mistakes here and there by Tua. But this Dolphins high-powered offense is so good, and we know the troubles the Giants are having. So, not a hard win for the Dolphins, but again, there were some mistakes made, and maybe some things that other teams saw now that they can kind of exploit. We'll see how that goes for them in the future. But the Dolphins are still looking pretty solid. One of the better offenses in football. Again, their defense does have some inconsistencies. I think that's not the best, as you know, the Bills game proved. But we'll see where they get from there. The Giants, I 100% now believe last year was somewhat of a fluke, or just maybe some great coaching that he just can't finally. It's not working enough. His coaching's not enough to get him through these games. I don't think the Giants are making the playoffs again. They might even have the number 1 overall pick. Who knows where the season ends up going? But it's definitely not looking solid for the Giants right now. Saints 34, Patriots 0. And I think the Patriots are kind of now in the same boat. Belichick's coaching just can't win them games anymore. And Mac Jones being benched yet again. Is it time to move on from the Mac Jones thing? I can't say 100%. He doesn't have weapons, and Mac Jones isn't Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He can't win you games on his arm talent alone. It has to be, a complimentary football team. The defense finally getting kind of blown out a little bit, but Matt Judon being gone and Gonzalez just not looking good for the Patriots. Saints finally kind of having an offensive game that looks good. We'll see where the consistency lies there with them. But Belichick taking back-to-back blowouts never happened before. Is it finally time for Belichick to just go enjoy retirement? I mean, I don't think he has anything left to prove. I don't know about any other Patriots fans. I would be more than happy. I mean, it sucks. You're going to lose probably one of the greatest coaches, but he has nothing left to prove. Like, just go enjoy retirement, Bill. Be an analyst, something. I don't know. Or just even straight GM, because he does have great GM skills, and get that next coach. We'll see where it's at. It's not looking good for them. But the Saints, if this offense can stay rolling, they're going to be tough to beat too. They got a very good defense, so we'll see where that's at. Here's my shocker of the week. Second shocker of the week after, disaster in San Francisco. Steelers 17, Ravens 10. A lot of criticism was coming down on the Steelers in the organization about, is it time to get rid of Matt Canada and, that they weren't going to start winning any more games. And, I think a lot of, again, overreaction a little bit to a couple of their losses because they're technically top of their division right now. So, I can't see, Mike Tomlin's always been able to, he doesn't have losing seasons, so we always got to believe in that. But I also believe a lot of this came down to the Ravens just could not do anything offensively. The receivers dropping balls, which I think affected Lamar a little bit and made him force some things. And I think that's where that last interception kind of comes down. Just not a good win or not a good loss for the Ravens. It's definitely one you want to not have, but I think it's one that they can hopefully learn from. And like I said, those wide receivers, they got to figure something out. The whole catching the rugby ball thing is coming up, where they had the wide receivers coach throwing them a rugby ball to help them with their hand catching. I don't know. Trying to play another sport with another sport. Rugby and football are very similar, but again, that ball is designed for a reason to be that way, and it's caught differently. It's passed differently, so maybe let's go back to footballs for that, Eagles 23, Rams 14. Again, the Eagles are still undefeated. I don't know. I'm still, and it could be my Dallas Cowboy in me. I'm not believing in the Eagles just yet. Yeah, they're 5-0, but God, they haven't, looked like the Eagles from last year. This defense finally stepped up a little bit, and Hassan Reddick was a madman on the field, especially those last couple plays. But this isn't the same Rams team that won a Super Bowl. If Cooper Kupp's in this game, is it a little different? Because I think the secondary they focused a lot on the young wide receiver and didn't let him really get going, which is smart. But again, it was only really a 11-point game. Yeah? No. 9-point game. So it could have, the Rams easily had a shot to win this. And I think the Eagles' offense at times has these really great explosive plays, but they're not looking like that same Eagles offense that could just march up and down the field last year. And we'll see. They've got some matchups coming up, and the Niners-Eagles game is going to be a very, very anticipated game, man. If the Niners do to the Eagles what they did to the Cowboys, I mean, I don't think anybody can stop them after that. And like I said, I'll talk a little bit about that. Well, I don't think it'll happen again, but yeah, that'd be pretty scary. The Rams, again, I didn't expect them to be playing this well. I think they're an older team. They do have some younger pieces finally, but depending on how the season goes, it might be time for them to trade off some of these older players to get some draft picks back to teams that are in Super Bowl contention, because they're going to need it, obviously, and start rebuilding through the draft. Their whole buy a Super Bowl worked for one season, but it wasn't going to work for multiple seasons. And Matt Stafford's still Matt Stafford will go into the Hall of Fame. I don't know if it's first ballot just yet, but he is still one of the best quarterbacks to play the game of football. I 100% believe that. So, Bengals 34, Cardinals 20. The Bengals finally starting to look like the Bengals of last year. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow finally getting, the connection going. The offensive line probably looked the best it's looked in weeks. I still think the calf's a little bit of a lingering issue, but I think it's healing properly. I think that's that. But the problem is, did they start off too slow? How much of a hole do they have to climb out of? I think their division's pretty strong, but yet kind of weak. And the AFC is not 100% like a world beater like it was the last couple years. So there's definitely room for wild card spots. They just need to get into the playoffs. We know what they can do in the playoffs. So I think the Bengals will be just fine, and they'll have a couple weeks of stringing together some big wins. So Jets 31, Broncos 21. The Jets finally getting a win under Zach Wilson. Good for them. I believe in Zach Wilson. I think he can turn this season around 100%. I know the arm talent's there. I think he had no confidence. I think it's slowly starting to build back. Kind of lost a little bit from the Chiefs game. He played so good in the Chiefs game. Not so great here, but his team picked him up, which I think kind of comes from the Chiefs game because of how well he played in the Chiefs game. So now his team's like, you know what, we got your back. Let us step up and play this game and win it for you. And they did. The Broncos, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of happy the Broncos lost. Like I said, I think the more the Broncos lose, the more they finally go. Sean Payton probably says, look, this isn't the team I built, right? This isn't the team I want to coach. I came here to coach. I'm coaching this team, but I need draft picks and I need to build my team. And I think, they don't have a lot of draft picks because of the Russell Wilson trade and stuff like that. So I think it's time for them to do kind of something similar and start making some trades. Do I think Russell Wilson goes? I don't know. I think Sean Payton and Russell Wilson really like each other, so I don't see that happening. We know what Sean Payton's loyalty to quarterbacks kind of are. We saw that with Drew Brees. But I think they might blow up the defense a little bit. They might blow up some of this young offense a little bit and start trying to find some picks so they can do some better things. I don't know. Again, this is one of the teams I'll talk about when we talk about what the Cowboys need to do to kind of help their season get back on track. But, yeah, the Broncos definitely, I think their season's pretty much done, especially if they lose this upcoming week. So, and they got the Chiefs Thursday Night Football. So you lose in a game like this with the Jets, and then you got a short week to go get ready for the Chiefs. I just don't see the Broncos winning this game. So if they lose again, I think they'll definitely be out. But, yeah, it's JJ. Chiefs 27, Vikings 20. I watched highlights of this game, and I watched the ending. The NFL is definitely going to have a hard time explaining that the refs are not favoring this Chiefs team. I'm not trying to say they are, but God, it's looking awful suspicious. You can't have 2 weeks in a row of kind of bad calls like that. Where, you throw the flag and then you pick it up, and it clearly was pass interference in my eyes. I don't know, maybe I needed to watch more of the replay to see, but it looked like pass interference to me. Not only that, Kirk Cousins took hands to the face in the middle of that throw, and it didn't get called. There was, again, officiating at the, you can't, these officials have got to probably understand, man, hey, maybe they don't want to throw the flags to make the decision, but you also have been, so you got to make a decision somewhere where the consistency is going to lie. And I'm 100% on board with having like a referee type union type thing to help these guys get better trained. And I don't see why we can't just have one official that's up at every game, like up in the booths or up in the boxes, that has a TV and he's watching this over, and he can just instantly buzz and be like, hey, that was the wrong call, let's change it. Hey, you missed this penalty, let's change it. Like, I don't understand why we can't do that. I don't. If it's for the ref's pride, screw that. Like, the game of football deserves better than that. So, again, the Chiefs still picking up the win. Their offense is not looking spectacular, but it's doing what it needs to do. And their defense is building, which could be scary. Patrick Mahomes having anywhere near a top 5 defense pretty much means they're winning. So, hopefully some teams can figure that out towards the end. We'll see. Yeah, just got to be careful with that. And like I said, the Vikings, again, probably another team that, you know, maybe one more loss and it's time to start trading. Justin Jefferson's got a hamstring injury. They're putting him on IR. Which I think means they're basically done winning games for a little bit. Justin Jefferson is that offense. Might be time to start, you know, building offers for things and getting draft picks as well. So we'll see where they go with that. Like I said, next game would be Cowboys 49ers, but we'll say that for the end. So we'll go to the Monday night game. Packers Raiders. Raiders picking up a win here, 17-13. Jordan Love not looking spectacular. You got to give him more time. I do like something that was said about, you know, this is kind of his rookie year. You know, he's been in the league for 4 years, but he didn't play a whole lot. You know, he's been on the bench, so he's coming off. I think he'll be fine. He still hasn't shown me that he's not ready to be a starting quarterback, so don't do that. But the Raiders picking up a solid win. It wasn't pretty. It definitely wasn't pretty, and I don't think the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, but they got to win. I still don't think Jimmy G's the quarterback answer they need. And, you know, again, could this be a team that starts losing a little bit? And, hey, we got Devontae Adams. How many draft picks can you get for him? I think you can get pretty penny, and there's some teams that would love to have Devontae Adams. I can think of one. It's going to be part of my discussion here in a minute. But, yeah, great win for the Raiders. Packers will bounce back. Their defense, Jair Alexander was taking a lot of the heat, saying their defense needs to be the one to win these games. But their defense only gave up 17 points. Usually, you do that, you're winning a football game. So, I don't think the Packers defense needs to panic. They're playing good football. They just need their offense to play a little bit better football. So, we'll be there. Teams with the bye this week were the Bucks, the Seahawks, Chargers, and Browns, which I think can be dangerous for some of these. The Browns, I think, have the Niners coming up. Niners better be careful. The Browns having a week to prepare for them. A week extra is not going to be safe. Same for Dallas and the Chargers. Seahawks having an extra week is never good. And the Bucks, you know, Baker Mayfield looking pretty solid. We'll see what they can do coming off this bye. But, as we said, we'll save the Cowboys and Niners for last. We are here. And, man, I don't know what else to say about that game other than just I don't know why my team has weeks where they just don't know what football is anymore. You know, we get soft. We're not playing hard. And I'm not saying the Cowboys lost this game. I'm saying the 49ers won this game. Hands down, their offense looks good. Hey, JJ, please stop chasing the dogs. That offense is pretty dangerous. Drogon, stop. That defense is the best defense in the NFL right now, and it's not because of Nick Bosa. I told you guys, Fred Warner should be in Defensive Player of the Year consideration. He can almost even be MVP consideration. That man is all over the field. that man is their leader, whether you want to admit it or not. He is scary, and I don't see, teams being able to figure out how to stop Fred Warner just yet. Having that linebacker, and I kind of start thinking about it a little bit, man. You go look at some of those 2000s teams that won Super Bowls because of their defense, and it was a heavily middle linebacker-led team. You think about the Ravens with Ray Lewis and, the Raiders, I can't remember his name 100%, but man, he was really good. And that middle linebacker spot is so important because you have the run stopping ability, and then you have the pass rushing ability, and then you have the pass defense ability, and it's just crazy. Hey, please stop for a second. Makes about sense. It is crazy how good he is and a disruption he is. And I think, again, Dak Prescott fears him a little bit, and it showed. So as far as the Niners go, they look super solid. They are the best team in the NFL right now. You can't debate that. And we'll see where they keep going forward. We'll see how it plays out for them. They've stayed relatively healthy, which is super strong. It's one of their kryptonites in the past. Again, we're only 5 weeks in, so we got to see where they're at. But this is their best start in the last 2 years, and we know where the last 2 years has taken them. So be careful, everybody. Just be careful. As far as the Cowboys go, again, Trayvon Diggs being gone has been so huge, and I think a lot of people underestimated that. His ability to do what he does. There was wide open guys all night. Brock Purdy never had to worry about not throwing into tight coverage. The defensive line is still not getting enough pressure, in my opinion, on their own. And I think that's why there was wide open stuff. And Dan Quinn, as great as he's been, he didn't adjust, I feel like. I think he, we had some more injuries pile up too, Devontae Turpin. And then Deron Bland going out, I think, was the big, huge, because that's when the game started to get away. It was a close game going into the third. You can say it wasn't. It was 21-10. That's 11 points. That's still a close game. That's 2 possessions. And then Deron Bland goes out, and it starts to open up even more. I think Stephon Gilmore was doing everything he can, but these other guys were just, they were not right and ready. And this is where I say, Dallas needs to make some moves for the trade deadline. And I think, if Denver's willing, you call them up and say, what do you want for Patrick Surtain? Because we need him. I think 100%. We put him opposite Gilmore. We'll worry about paying whoever next year. We got to get to the Super Bowl. We have to get to the Super Bowl. So go get that. I think we need to go find a better middle linebacking group or person. I love Leighton Vander Esch. I do. He's an Idaho boy, and I support him 110%. But I don't think where Fred Warner is and Matt Milano are at, he's not there, and you need that. And he could, they said they were practicing at edge rusher more, and he's out now anyways. He's on IR, so we need to go find something anyways. He's on IR with a neck injury. Hopefully it's nothing too major. He's had a history of neck problems, and I don't want to see anything bad for him. And I'd love him to be healthy when I go down there in November so I can watch him play live. I've wanted to do that for so long. But this defense needs to have the ability with those 4 front to just rush those 4. So we can maybe help with some coverage in the back end now. And so it's on Micah, it's on D-Law, it's on Hankins. And where has Mozzie Smith been? Like, I haven't heard his name once in any of these games. What was the point of that first-round draft on him if he's not going to be that impact player? You know what I'm saying? So I think he can be. The guy is strong as hell. I don't think he's Aaron Donald's level of fast, but I think he's Aaron Donald levels of strength. And so we got to figure out how to get him involved more and see if he can help with this run game and, maybe force some more blockage in the middle, because I feel like that's the biggest thing is these quarterbacks that have beaten us have had so much time in the middle they can just, find these passes right across the middle, because it wasn't a lot of edge passing. It was slants in the middle. It was big plays in the middle, and that's what beat us. So as far as the defense goes, And they definitely got smacked in the mouth a little bit, and they didn't respond back enough. As far as the offense goes, and look, I'm probably delusional and crazy for this, and I'll probably take a lot of flack because I'm going to post some. I'm going to clip this and post this a little bit later to like TikTok and Instagram and Twitch, or not Twitch, Twitter or X, whatever it's freaking called now. And this is going directly to him. I still believe in you, Dak Prescott. I do. I think you can still win us a Super Bowl. I know what you can do. We need the Dak Prescott before the broken leg. 100%. That Dak Prescott's what we need. We haven't had that Dak Prescott. And maybe the leg, maybe there's some fear in the back of his mind with the leg. I think the play calling's not helpful either. I think McCarthy needs to change something up. I think he needs to look at his offensive playbook. I don't think he needs to blow it up, but I think he needs to look at something, and I think he needs to call things in a different order. I still believe in you. If nobody else does, I still do. I know what you can do, and I need to see it. I 100% also believe that it's not just him. They were boasting about how this offensive line is finally together for the first time. We went and got these 5 guys that are supposed to be the next best offensive line, and they haven't been able to play together because of injuries, because of this and that, and they finally got to play together. And I think a lot of people maybe over-expected things. This was the first time that 5 got to play together in a real game, and I think there was some miscues. I think 100% they can fix that. We know the Dallas Cowboys offensive lines are really solid the last 10 years, so we know they can get around to that. The run game was non-existent. That's not good. Tony Pollard fumbling that football, I can't say it's 100% on him. That was a great play by Fred Warner. But Tony Pollard, he's not looking like he was last year. And again, he's coming off a weird injury as well. So he needs to play better. And sadly, it's going to be weird to say that the best group what we've had on offense this season so far has been the tight ends, which I think was a lot of the big question marks for people coming in. Ferguson, when he gets that ball, man, he's making some moves and he's making some plays. The rookie's getting open. I think where this has failed as a team has been this wide receiver group. We went and got Brandon Cooks for his speed to get separation, and he's not getting separation. Michael Gallup's not getting separation. CeeDee Lamb's not known for getting separation on the outside. He's known for getting that separation in the middle. So I need those two to open up that outside so that they're double covering CeeDee every play, hands down. And there was some plays where CeeDee was open and Dak messed him. That's going to happen in a game. Again, I just don't think... I thought the Brandon Cooks deal was going to be better than it is, and maybe I over-expected on that. I don't think it's there. Maybe we trade it. I don't know. We're 5 weeks in again. These are all overreactions. Your best months of football need to come in November, December, January, hands down, but you've got to be able to win games in September and October to be in the hunt. I think we need that home field advantage. I would love the 1 seed. I don't think we're getting it. I think the Niners are hands down getting the 1 seed. But we can still get the 2 seed, and we still got to beat the Eagles. And this team shows up against the Eagles, we're losing. Hands down. This team shows up against the Eagles, we are losing. We got obviously some things to fix on both sides of the ball. There's injuries on the defensive side of the ball that we're going to have to address with other players. I don't think the players we currently have is going to work, so trades need to happen. Offense, again, getting rid of Kellen Moore, was it the right decision? We put up a lot of points with Kellen. We're not putting up as many points. Our red zone doesn't look good. But at the same time, we had a lot of turnovers with Kellen, and Dak had 3 again in this game. One, I put it on him a little bit, but man, Michael needs to fight for that ball. He did not even try to fight for that ball. The air raid interception, I'm not putting on him either 100% because if you watch that play over again, he had a lineman right up face to face, and he had another one kind of on his back hitting his arm. And so I think he pushed it up higher than it needed to be because I think Cooks was a little bit open, and I think if he would have led that a little different, Cooks could have got that one. But that throw to Turpin is a spot-on throw, and I know Dak can make those throws. So again, but the third one was 100% him. He lost a linebacker again, and this is what I'm saying. Linebackers are the key to beating Dak, not corners, not safeties, linebackers. Every team that's had a solid linebacking core throws Dak off. And I'm not saying we need to run Dak more, but we need to move that pocket for him. 100% that pocket needs to start moving and getting, let's get a little improvisation going in there, And I've noticed a little something else. Dak's not making any more audibles as much, and I don't know if that's how McCarthy's system works. I think he needs to give him a little bit more freedom on that. We've got to play better. We definitely, we've beaten these bad teams down, and that's great. That's what you should do. You should beat bad teams. So, we didn't beat the Cardinals. But now we go up against what we were supposed to be a 1v2 matchup, 100%. Niners are the number 1. Dallas was the number 2 in some eyes. And this is what it was supposed to be, and we got just throttled. I don't know. All I can say is I still believe in Dak Prescott. And I'm going to get heat for that. I'm going to get throttled for it. I still believe in you, Dak Prescott, and I need you to prove everybody wrong. Go do it. Let these media people say everything they want to say. Ignore the Stephen A's, the Shannon Sharps, because they're nothing. They're just clowns that ESPN hires for entertainment. They're not real analysts. They're just clowns. Take it to him, Dak Prescott. Please. Be that guy. Be that rookie we saw. Be that guy before the broken leg that was going to be on pace for 5,000 plus yards. We need you. We need you. And look, Jerry, I don't know what you got to do to fix what you need to fix with Jimmy Johnson, but I still think the Jimmy Johnson curse is hanging heavy over this organization. Go fix it. Go fix it, and let's get this curse over with, because this is it. This is the year that we've got to prove to everybody we're back to being Dallas Cowboys and back to being winning playoff Super Bowl teams. So that's what I got for the review this week. It was a tough loss to swallow. I had some friends over here that were 49er fans, so it was a little rough dealing with that. Wasn't the best for me. It definitely wasn't, but I still believe. Standings real quick. AFC East, Miami 1, Buffalo 2, Jets 3, New England 4. I think that's exactly it. Buffalo and Miami might flip, but I think that might be how that finishes. AFC North, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. 3-3. The top 2 are 3-2. The bottom 2 are 2-2. With Cincy actually 2-3 because Cleveland was off this week. I don't think that's how that one's finishing. We'll see how the season plays out. But Pittsburgh's 2-0 in the division. Doesn't bode well for the other teams. You're gonna have to get some wins against Pittsburgh. AFC South, Jacksonville 1, Indy 2, Houston 3, and Tennessee 4. I think that's how that's gonna finish. I do, but it's gonna be a tough fight for Jacksonville. It 100% does. AFC West, Kansas City 1, Chargers 2, Las Vegas 3, Denver 4. I 100% believe that's how that's finishing. There's no getting around that. I don't think LA might get a playoff spot, but Las Vegas and Denver aren't. NFC East, Philadelphia is obviously 1, Dallas 2, Washington 3, New York 4. I think that's how that's finishing, 100%. Dallas and Philly will get the playoffs, so the other two won't. NFC North, Detroit 1, Green Bay 2, Chicago 3, and Minnesota is actually technically 4 now with the Bears getting that win. So, yeah, I think that's how that division's going to finish as well. Congratulations for Detroit. I think this has been a long time coming. Detroit's a very good football team, and happy for their fans. NFC South, Tampa Bay still on top with the bye. Atlanta right there, though, and New Orleans right there. Carolina, unfortunately, 0-5. They're going to be there. But this one's going to be another one that comes down to the wire, I think, playoff-wise. And this might be the division that sends 3 teams. I don't know if we'll get a division that sends 3 teams this year. I think we're going to get 2 divisions sending 2 because the NFC West is pretty strong too. and the NFC East. I think, yeah, we'll see how the playoffs wrap out, you know. NFC West, obviously San Francisco 1, Seattle 2, Los Angeles 3, and Arizona bringing up through at 4. I think that's how that division finishes as well. So, yeah. As far as power rankings go, number 1 is the San Francisco 49ers. No doubt in my mind that's the right decision. Number 2 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, the only unbeaten team, and they're still looking strong. I don't believe in them 100%, but you can't argue with their winning. Chiefs probably in at 3. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Bringing in 4. This is where it gets a little trickier, you know. There's just some teams out there that aren't, and there's some teams that didn't play. And I can't put you guys there. I'm sorry, Cowboys. You can't even be in the top 5 this week. It's just not capable. I mean, 4 would go to the bye teams, I think. I think Seattle and Tampa Bay. I think you're rounding out your 5 and 4. So, again, power rankings are pretty fluid. And right now there's only 3 teams, I believe, 3 teams in football that are looking solid. And the Bills, it's injuries. Cincinnati's starting to turn it around. Dallas obviously just had a bad week. We'll see where next week brings us. Maybe we'll have a better power rankings, but those 3 teams definitely deserve to be in it, and honestly, the rest are kind of fighting for spots. So, yeah. Dallas has got the Monday night game, so I'm super stoked on that. I would like to maybe do a live watch along, but I'll be at work for probably about half of the game, so which I'll have to watch there at work. I'm gonna wear my jersey under my work uniform. Or I can find out if I can wear my jersey. Just, anyways. Yeah, I think good weeks in football. Like I said, Chiefs got the Thursday night game. Dallas has got the Monday night game. I think the Sunday. Let's look at the schedule. We'll see what the main matchups are going to be for this week. Come on. Week 6. So, yep, Denver, Kansas City, that's that one there. Baltimore, Tennessee is the London game. Buffalo, New York's the Sunday night game. I think they thought this was going to be a better game. I think, well, Buffalo being injured, this might be an ugly game. Tampa Bay, Detroit, that's going to be a main matchup. Philadelphia at the Jets, not so much. Yeah, not a lot of big marquee matchups. So I think the biggest one is Dallas, Chargers. Tampa Bay, Detroit, pretty solid. Indy, Jacksonville could be good, but now no Anthony Richardson, so that's going to be a little weird. Minnesota, Chicago, the battle for the bottom of the NFC North. Seattle, Cincy will be good. There's a good game right there. And that is the CBS game. So we should get that. I think that's the market. San Francisco, Cleveland will be pretty good too. I think that'll actually be a pretty dang good game. Jimmy G going back to New England. We'll see how that goes. All right, yeah. So that's nothing too crazy for next week. Kellen Moore's return to Kellen Moore versus his former team. That defense has got to get after Herbert 100%. And our offense needs to start scoring some points. We'll see how it goes. For later today, like I said, you guys all know the drill. It's Tuesday, so Red Dead here in a little while. Tonight, I'm going to be doing some painting on a 3D printed Wolfman Leo for Turt Talk while we talk Turts. So hopefully I'll catch you guys all on the next one. And have a good afternoon, everybody.